Now turn to part 3. Part 3.
Now listen and answer the questions.
Most of us are quite happy to swim in a pool, clocking up the lengths, but not my guest today, whose most amazing achievement must have been last year. At 59, she became the oldest woman to swim the Channel non-stop from Dover to Calais and back in 36 hours and 25 minutes. Cross-Channel swimmer Sally Minty Gravett learned to swim in the sea around Jersey where she lives. In this interview, she describes her unique relationship with the waters surrounding this beautiful island. Sally, you're fortunate to live on an island where you are never more than 10 minutes from the sea. As a cross-channel swimmer, how does that make you feel?
I feel I have a very close relationship with the sea, whether I am swimming in it or walking nearby with the ocean breeze in my face. There isn't a day that passes when I don't look at it and feel lucky to live somewhere so special. If I do not swim in the sea at least every other day, I am missing something very important.
I gather you started swimming when you were very young. Did you learn to swim on the island?
I moved to Jersey with my parents when I was 3. Back then, there were no public swimming pools, so the sea was the pool where I learned to swim.
That is a rather challenging start for a 3-year-old. How has that influenced the way you think of the sea? Weren't you ever afraid?
I think that's when my love affair with the sea began. I try to swim every day in all weather conditions. And I'm sure this has a great deal to do with the fact that I have swum the Channel 7 times. The varying sea conditions around the island have been the best preparation for these challenges that I could have ever hoped for. For example, I practiced for my last and most recent long-distance swim by swimming twice round the island for each trial session. The distance round the island is 66 miles.
That is really amazing. What concerns me, though, is that the Channel Islands are in one of the busiest waterways for shipping in the world. Surely swimming near the coast of Jersey carries the risk of pollution.
The tides here are quite remarkable. They rise among the highest in the world, which is why the water and the coastline are so free of debris. Each day, incredible waves wash everything clean. Being in the water somehow washes away any troubles or heaviness I might be carrying with me. Within moments of diving into the water, I feel great. That's why I call it my vitamin C. I'm certain that sea swimming is a form of physical and mental therapy, which is far more effective than swimming in a pool.
From looking at pictures of Jersey, I think that my favourite season for swimming would be the height of summer. I can safely presume that this would be your favourite time as well? Or am I wrong? Don't tell me you actually enjoy swimming in the winter.
Well, in summer, the sun sparkles on the water surface in a magical way, and it's absolutely mesmerising. In winter, I love to swim under a full moon. Believe me, there is nothing quite as exhilarating as getting out of the sea on a cold evening, with every inch of me tingling. It's winter swimming for me.
I know from past experience, when I've come to Jersey with my family for a holiday, that there are so many wonderful places to swim, and they all seem to have a personality of their own, so it's quite hard to choose your favourite beach.
You're quite right. In the southern parts of the island, you will find shallow waters and golden sands. Along the north and eastern sides are some beautiful pebble beaches, while the Atlantic waves off the west coast are a sight to behold.
Many of the beaches in Jersey are voted year in and year out as the United Kingdom's favourite beaches and have been awarded the coveted blue flag for cleanliness and outstanding beauty. Jersey is a popular holiday destination not only among the British. It's clear that visitors and local people alike love the sea that surrounds this beautiful island.
Definitely. I'm very privileged, not only to live on this island, but to make my living as a local swimming coach working with future generations of Jersey swimmers. I try to encourage others to embrace the water and to have the confidence to swim out into it. It is my way of giving back to the sea what it has given me, a purpose and a challenge.
I'm so impressed with what you have done for the sport. You've not only been a successful marathon swimmer yourself, but have trained many who now follow in your footsteps. And recently you have been honoured by the Queen for your services to sport and swimming in particular. What did it feel like meeting Her Majesty?
It was a thrilling moment to meet the Queen. But I think the greatest satisfaction I get is from teaching children who do not have the chances in life that I was given, and yet who want to succeed.
Now listen a second time and check your answers. Now turn to part 4. Part 4. In this part, you will hear an extract from a recording in which an astronaut is answering questions about space travel. For questions 31 to 32 and 38 to 40, listen and complete the sentences below. Write no more than 3 words for each answer. For questions 33 to 37, complete the table. Write no more than 3 words for each answer. 1 mark will be awarded for each correct answer.
You have 1 minute to read the questions. Now listen and answer the questions.
Welcome to Tim Peake, who is a European Space Agency astronaut. In June 2016, he completed a 186-day mission working on the International Space Station. He is here to answer some questions about his amazing and unique experience.
Thank you. Just as the Apollo missions in the 1960s took a giant leap for mankind, we are now at the start of a new golden age of space exploration. In the coming decades, we can expect to colonize the Moon, to set foot on Mars, and to travel deeper into our solar system than ever before. Since I returned from the International Space Station, I have been amazed by some of the intriguing and searching questions asked by people on every aspect of my mission.
One of the most commonly asked questions we have received for you must be, how did going up into space affect your sense of time?
Common questions, but very important. The human body has a natural perception of time. This is called the circadian rhythm. It not only dictates when we feel tired and alert, but has an effect on how our body works. For example, our body temperature, our levels of concentration, and how quickly we can learn new things. The most common way to confuse this rhythm is to experience a large and rapid shift in time zone, known as jet lag. Astronauts undergo a 4-week period of training to minimize the effects of jet lag. Our body rhythm is very sensitive to light in order to regulate our perception of time. One of the main challenges in adopting good sleeping patterns in space is to get used to the frequent day and night cycle caused by orbiting the Earth 16 times in 24 hours. Once aboard the craft, astronauts keep to a strict routine of mealtimes, rest and exercise, which are set to Greenwich Mean Time. At first, it felt strange having a coffee break when it was pitch black outside and the craft was over China, or I am getting ready to go to bed and it could be midday over Europe. I discovered that the worst thing I could do prior to bedtime was to look out of the window during daylight. The burst of ultraviolet light I got from the sun stopped my body producing the hormone which made me feel sleepy. This upset my natural sleep patterns and stopped me sleeping for hours. With regular exercise and sleep patterns, the crew, including me, quickly became unaffected by the 16-orbit day and night cycle.
Another popular question was on exercise. How do you keep fit in space?
Keeping fit in space is really important, not simply to be able to function effectively in weightlessness, but in order to cope with gravity once the mission is over and you are back on Earth. The human body is extremely good at adapting to a new environment. Left to its own devices, the body would morph into the perfect being for living in space. This would make the return to Earth with its gravity particularly punishing. To that end, the exercises astronauts do in space focus on trying to decrease as much as possible the negative aspects caused by microgravity. Lack of gravity causes a reduction in muscle mass and strength, bone density, and cardiovascular fitness. Astronauts use a weight training device which is like a multi-gym, a specially adapted treadmill and a bicycle machine. This equipment allows us to stimulate all the major muscle groups using a number of different exercises. The multi-gym is particularly good for the prime mover muscles such as biceps, triceps and pectorals. The treadmill and bicycle machine help maintain cardiovascular fitness and prevent the heart muscle from deteriorating.
One last question. What are the benefits of research done in space?
When Yuri Gagarin launched into space in 1961, flight surgeons were concerned that the human body would not tolerate weightlessness. Since then, humans have not only tolerated weightlessness, but also have managed to adapt and excel in this new environment for extended periods of time. Along the way, a vast amount of scientific information has been learnt, not only about the human body, but in almost every field of scientific research. The space environment has been particularly helpful in creating new strains of vaccines to fight illnesses. Scientists have been able to use microgravity to test the effectiveness and strength of vaccines and select the most suitable for use on Earth. Rapid changes that occur to the human body as it adapts to weightlessness can provide a unique model to study what happens to our bodies as we get older. New forms of metal which have been created in a weightless environment have been successfully tested on Earth. Lighter machinery, such as cars or planes, constructed from these metals could lead to reduced fuel consumption and lower exhaust emissions. It is not only government-funded research that is being conducted. More and more commercial companies are realizing the benefits of space-based research as the International Space Station grows as a basis for innovation both within the public and private sectors.
The next step?
We have entered an era of international cooperation, exciting opportunities for collaboration and new partnerships. It is no longer a question of if we colonize Mars or the Moon, but when.
Now listen a second time and check your answers.